What's up, guys? Today we have first place GP Luffy deck profile. We got Kyle Vo here. He won Project CCG's Sword Treasure Cup. So let's get right into the deck profile.
Yeah, first off, 4 Namis. I try to play all the 1-drops in the deck because you just want to be consistent. The deck is like metaphorically like a 8 to 12 card deck. You just want to see the same 4 to 12 cards like every single game, so max out on consistency. The 1-drop Nami, and then Zordra. It's an amazing body. I wish I could play more 4/6s, but the only other good 4/6 is a vanilla, so I just have 4 Zordras as like a searcher, and then it's just a great play, especially going second on your 4-down turn. And then next up, Sanji Pudding. It literally just makes the whole deck. Is an uncuttable card that's like a core engine. Whenever you use your leader ability to put 2 dons back, you get 1 back here, so you don't go too far behind on dons. And then it lets you make plays like on 6 dons. You can play this for 5 leader effect to get 2 from the leader, 1 from the Sanji Pudding, and then play out Zordra. So it's like a really strong way to flood board. And then it draws 1 a lot. The first one usually doesn't draw unless you're playing against a purple deck, but the consecutive ones always draw 1, so it's just great to keep your hand healthy. Next up, I got 4 Zoras. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this card, but I keep it at 4 because it's situationally the strongest play you could make, and then there's not that many other good cards to play. The only bad part is that the 4-cost Zoro can't search it because it only searches purple straw hat cards. So I place at 4. It's pretty good against like Shanks when they play on Building Snake, and then it's good against Lychee when they set up Rebecca. Next up, Usohachi. It's one of the best Straw Hat 2K searchable off Zoro and all your other searcher events. It's hard to have its effect active, but if you play around it and try to set up game with 8 Dons, then it's a really good way to rest their blockers. Because especially in the mirror, there's like a Nico Robin blocker that searches when it dies. So if you can rest it and then avoid killing it, it's great. And then you get 2 Dons back from the 3 Dons. So it's quite cheap to rest the blockers. Next up, we got Sanji. Because our leader effect keeps us low in Dawn, this is a great body in the endgame, especially against Lychee. If you could spam out these 6-drop bodies, it's so hard for them to clear your whole board. And then it's just a really good, like I said, I wanted more 6K bodies, and it's technically a 6K body in the late game. Next up, 1 Chronosuke. There's a lot of bricks in the deck, so I'm trying to improve it by adding a little bit of counter. This is my 9th 2K. I know some people play the other 3-drop Usohachi, but I don't really like it because I feel like I'd rather just either swing 5 with the Nami Searcher or just not play it at all because I don't want to lose the 2K from my hand. And this one's like an emergency rusher. I never have gotten a chance to use it, but either way, it's just a good 2K to have.
Okay.
And then next up, 3 Luffys. I think it's like one of the things the West kind of figured out. It was like everyone started with 4 Luffys because it's like a new card and it looks so strong. But with the popularity of Lychee, and then we have to implement Luffy Taro, I think they work really well together in different situations. You don't want to play this too early because you can't use the restand effect, but you want to have high ends and playable cards. So in order to fit in the 2 Luffy Taro, I cut one of the Monkey D. Luffy's rushers. If I were to cut down this Luffy Taro, I would increase this up to 4. And the Luffy Taro is just good for going wide. It increases your board presence in the mirror, and it just helps you flood board against Lychee especially, because it's a 7-drop, so it's hard to kill, and then it plays out Sanji Pudding. And then if you don't leader effect on the previous turn, if you play out Luffy Taro, you actually end up at the equal amount of dons as your opponent, so you get a draw when you play the Sanji Pudding. Next up, 1 Nico Robin blocker. I like being more aggressive, and I feel like the giant gives me enough survivability so that I don't have to rely on so many blockers. I know a lot of people run more Nico Robins or they run the chopper blocker, but I feel like I'm not putting myself in positions where I really need blockers. But I just have 1 just in case, so that I could play for another turn without having to minus too much Dawn for like playing giant, for example. Next up, 4 Marigo. It's super important in the yellow matchups because you want to make your 5-drops not poppable. Versus Lychee, it inconveniences them just a little bit, so it's still strong, but most of the time they power through anyways. But I would rather have it than not have it, and it just makes the yellow matchup so free, so that's why I keep it at 4. And then consistency, obviously. 2 Gatlings because we run like a bunch of bricks in the deck, and then the trigger came up today. I went second, and then it was my first life, and I was able to ramp to 5 and play Sanji Pudding early, so it has that random sack factor. 4 giants, just the best counter card in the entire game. It makes a deck like Green Purple Luffy, who has such a huge hand size, like seems like it'll just never go down because the giant is like free counter, so you just have like 10 cards counter and you still have 10 cards. The other thing is the event. It's in a Straw Hat Searcher that can also search things like Heart Pirate cards, like this Gamma Knife. So it's a pretty strong card, increases consistency, and it has a trigger, so it's not a brick out of life. But the bad thing is that it's a land of Wano card, so you can't search it off your other searchers. And then 1 Gamma Knife. This is mainly to counteract the 8-drop kit in green decks like Bonnie and Smoker. Those are pretty hard matchups, but the Gamma Knife, if you see it, makes it really easy. And then against Lucci, if their Jack ever sticks, you kind of have to speed up the game because the Jack is like giving them too much value. So Gamma Knife is a huge way to kill the Jack because it has 8k power, so it's kind of too fat to swing. And then last up, Electric Luna. Probably the strongest card in the mirror, I would say, and then strong against every aggro deck like Zora, Dofi, Bello Betty. There's just so many decks that play 7s and lower, so being able to soft remove it because your deck doesn't have any hard removal, freezing it, and then being able to push their life is like one of the strongest ways to close out a game. So I keep it at 4, and it has an insane trigger to rest anything.
All right, any shout outs?
Shout outs ProjectCCG, honestly, my sponsor, and then shout out Cold Hands. Shout out my friends for hooking me up like TCG for all the alt arts. Yeah.
See you in the next video.
Yeah.